Hi, and welcome back to Blue's Garden. It's been a very busy week this last week of August. As I said, last week of August and very busy. I harvested a bunch of tomatoes, some for fresh, some salads, a caprese. I processed a ton that went into the freezer for some sauce making in October. I take my fresh stuff that I'm not going to use that week and I process it all down in the Cuisinart and freeze that, and I'll deal with cooking up the sauce later. I made a couple of jars of some salsa. I harvested a big bag of potato, one more, I think it was the Adirondack Red this week. Adirondack Blue. I planted Adirondack Red. And what else? Picked peppers, some bits and pieces here and there. Dealt with some compost. Let's take a look at what I got done this week. So, in traveling through the garden, I realized that I'm still finding either a straight eight or a mantra cucumber, at least one or two every couple days. Maybe one every 3 days, 4 days, something like that. My cucumbers didn't come in like I had hoped. Over here, I am now just poking my way through, taking a look at the peppers, pulling a few weeds here and there. I will go through and harvest some of the cherry tomatoes. Those are to your right as you're looking at the screen. To my left, that's some weeds just tossing. I already got some tomatoes harvested. And I think I'm going to pick a few little peppers, like some habanada, possibly some lemon-y, and taking a look at everything that I have in there. There's a lot of banana peppers, which I seem to have gotten this week, which is a good thing. Make some pickled banana peppers. Perhaps not quite a peck. I think these are white cherry I'm grabbing. Possibly eating. Finding a lot of peppers on there, banana peppers and the sweet banana peppers and the habanada, which are the habanero flavor with no heat. Decent little harvest. Some lemon-y, which I'll use to make a medium spicy salsa. Another batch of, this is from second planting of Roma tomatoes, pulling out some weeds over here on some of the beefsteak. Looking through the zucchini and squash. That's one of the days of harvest. Well, it has not been my favorite year for raspberries. I am probably, a quarter or so of what I normally have been picking. They are just starting to come in. This week I picked a tiny bowl. Yesterday I picked another bowl today, which is a little bit closer, maybe half of what I normally pick in a week. I am, like I said, a third to a quarter down. I'm only picking about a quarter or a third of what I normally would pick. The good news is I actually see a ton of the buds and blossoms on the raspberries. So here's a little bit, picking some raspberries. And raspberries, which I thought I was going to get nothing. Early spring, I had a lot of rain, didn't get a lot of my plant pollinated. Seeing lots of flowers and fruit now. So I'm finally harvesting. And not a lot today, but in the next few days, I can tell there's going to be an awful lot that will ripen up. So it's great. It's great to see that I'm finally going to get some. I was afraid I was going to have nothing, but I'm finally getting some. And like I said, seeing a lot of blossoms, seeing a lot of fruit setting and going to be coming in. Tiny bit in this batch, but over the next couple of weeks, I definitely see a lot of fruit coming. That's great. Like I said, you can see a lot of them on the vines, and we can't wait to get these harvested. So, raspberries, oh, go get them, Mr. Bee. Pollinate away. This is the zucchini and baby boo pumpkin. These little white pumpkins will be part of my table decor for Thanksgiving, for fall and Thanksgiving. Probably getting ready to harvest soon. Eggplant, I've got a bunch of them showing up on the vines. I've got 6 or 8 plants. And then this one I'll probably harvest next week. Right here, this one's a nice, decent size. It's 2 hands long. So, and seeing lots of moonbeam and yellow pear tomato, cherry tomato size. Seeing lots of white cherry coming soon. That's been pretty steady. It's been ripening as we go. And these are sweet banana pepper, which are getting some color on them. Some sweet bell peppers. I'm going to keep them on the vine and let's see them get to some color. I like them a little sweeter than when they're green. More of the sweet bell. Those might be my big red bell, which will turn a nice red color. And these are, I believe, the Golden Cow Wonder, which I think are a nice bright yellow. These are my habanada peppers. Again, all the flavor of habanero, but no heat. This is second planting of zucchini, Black Beauty. Seeing a lot of nice blossoms on there. These are my Tokyo long white onion that I've decided to give an experiment, try and let them go to seed, and I will harvest the seed. Tokyo long white onion. Let's see them harvest up the seed. This is a loud shot. What sounded like a loud shot ended up being this hose exploded. So toss that. Another harvest from the week. And you can see the tiny bit of raspberries. Mushroom basket, that's the last of them, and 1 cherry tomato to give you a size. It's supposed to be a lot bigger, but that was it. Sweetie, cherry tomato, some Roma, a couple of beefsteak, white cherry tomato coming up next. I tend to eat those as I'm bringing them in. And there's the big pile of some of the tomato. As I said, 1 straight 8 and 1 muncher cucumber. Grabbed some sweet banana pepper. I'll make a jar of pickled peppers. These are the habanada. Flavor of habanero, no heat. I'll add them to the lemon aiji and make a medium spicy salsa. And then I had enough tomato that I am just, other than what we use for the week, I also will process a bunch. So more than I can use in any 1 week. So they will go in. I will just Cuisinart them, put them in a Ziploc, freeze them. And then come November, I take a dozen or so Ziplocs out and make a nice big batch of some sauce or salsas. depending if some years I have more, some I have instead of 1 gallon. Sometimes I'm doing them in 2 gallons. But typically, like when I just brought all those harvests in, I'll take whatever I had in the fridge or on the counter, and those will get processed, and I'll have the new batch of stuff that I just harvested out on the counter or in the fridge. Another little exciting thing I did this week was it's actually the end of last week, but close enough, first time I'm putting it up on video, is I actually planted some wine cap mushroom. I got a wine cap mushroom garden kit, which consisted of some spores, a spore mix, and some straw. And for the first time ever, I've planted my own mushrooms. So here's some video from that. So I got my mushroom spores from Northspore. Hear great things about it, so I'm trying. This is a stock photo of some wine cap mushrooms. I start with, in my 25-gallon grow bags, about 6 inches of some live soil. This comes in the garden kit I got from Northspore. It is a sterile straw that you start with. Add a couple of inches of straw on top of the soil. You could also, instead of using straw, you could use hardwood chips. I just didn't have any hardwood chips. I got tons of some softwoods, but I didn't want to do that. It says it's best on hardwood. So a couple inches of some straw. And then the next thing that they ship you in your little garden kit, is the actual spawn, the mushroom spawn. The wine cap mushroom spawn is the one I went with. So then you cut that open, and you pop that on top of your straw. And do a nice little layer, spread it out some. And I split it up among a couple of them, and then one more surprise place, which is in the walkway. I took a chunk of that, and I wanted to see how that does, but we'll see later if anything comes. And then to top it off, on top of that mushroom spawn, you will then cover it with another couple of inches of straw. Now, the garden soil is an important part. You need some live stuff in your soil, so don't just put potting soil in there. I would imagine that the spawn, the mycelium in there, need some live bacteria and whatnot to interact with. Then the next step, the last step, is to wet it all down. Now, these do best in a shady, not full sun, so I am moving them to the back of my garden into 2 spots. That one that I already put down is going to get slightly more sun, but still not full sun, not even a half day of sun. And that's it, next to some of the brandywine tomatoes growing and the 2 compost bins. And then the other one is over by where the onions are growing and the cucumbers are growing. It's on the outside, but that is even more shady. And that happens to be a second planting of some potato. And a couple of black cherry tomato in there. And a surprise the other night. My kids surprised me. My daughter, Kirsten, surprised me with a trip to Iceland. A lot going on this week. Post-Hurricane Erin, doing some harvesting, quick little tour in there, planted some things, started mushrooms for the first ever for me. Interesting to see how that goes. And as always, every week, harvesting the tomatoes and putting some aside to make sauces. My goal, last year I got through March with sauce that I had made from the garden. This year I'd like to get through at least one more month, April. Not sure it'll happen. Keep picking the raspberries. Let's see over the next few weeks if I can get... Last year I think I got a dozen pints, and half pints, another 4 to 6. I gave the half pints away as jelly presents, and the dozen or so raspberry were for us. Let's see how much I get. The goal is to just become a little more self-sufficient in what I grow and harvest. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. That helps me grow, and that helps you. Thank you very much.